What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Anthony Fallon, Tone Center Sports Channel. I'll talk about our Dallas Cowboys. We got a win today. Got a win that we got a W that we're supposed to get. Uh, Team played complimentary football on all three phases. The offense, defense, and special teams uh, playing their part, and particularly the defense. Offense was okay. You know, um, running game was still suspect as usual, but that's gonna come with time and continuity with the offensive line. These young guys that we have at the same time, because we understand that we have a running back, a premier running back that needs space. Um, he's not able to wiggle tight quarters. You know what I'm saying? Uh, if y'all, nobody never noticed. So we haven't seen. That's why we haven't seen any explosive plays out of Zeke. We did see one in the Cincinnati game where he ran for over 20 yards. He got one, but still he didn't have. I only think Zeke had 48 yards or something. Hollis like 30 something yards. Somewhere in that range. So I don't know what to take from this other than the fact that it was just a good win. They 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 wanted to win for Dalton. I totally get that. You know what I'm saying? But what was that urgency for the rest of the games? So there's no need that you go back on all of that because it has happened. Talked about it every week, all of us. So there's no need to even go back on that. But they got up for this game because they wanted to come out with a victory, whatnot. So kudos to them. Kudos to Andy Dalton. Let's keep. That's what I wanted. That's what we've been wanting to see all season. But we wanted to see some consecutive wins strung together, and we just haven't been able to do that. So it's good to celebrate it. It's just good to get that W. That's about it. So now we on to the next. We on to the San Francisco 49ers. They coming into town Sunday, and we know the San Francisco 49ers just lost to the Washington Redskins. That defensive front that's like on right now. They're on fire. And I thought that San Francisco was going to give them a run for their money, especially with the running game that Shanahan normally that's pretty much been dominant almost in every game. It's been like their bread and butter. Washington shut that down. Um, I'm glad I just didn't put money on San Francisco like that. What I should have put money on was the Redskins and the Eagles, as we saw that they both got a win. Nobody counted on the Eagles to win against the Saints. I definitely didn't. I'm glad I didn't bet on those games either, but they would have been some good bets, especially the Eagles Saints game, because it was a tremendous underdog. So the Jalen Hurts experience was an element of surprise because nobody knew about the game plan, other than the fact that he is a mobile quarterback, does have an arm, and they put together a game plan because we already know they have a defense. So that's one thing that is intact. That as long as the defense can hold up, then uh, let them work the offensive game. And man, it was just some real good games up and down the NFL. I haven't seen the highlights of the Bills in the Pittsburgh game, but Miami gave was giving Miami was giving Kansas City a run for their money. Uh, up until the offense just broke loose. Kansas City offense. Um, how about the Atlanta game? Atlanta versus the Chargers, and Matt Ryan just. I live in Atlanta. I'm not. I have not. I'm not a homer or nothing like that. I'm not from Atlanta. I'm from Virginia, but Dallas is my team. But I love football. I love watching football up and down, all the teams. Um, but Matt Ryan, he's just not it. I'm sorry for the. I feel sorry for the Atlanta Falcons fans because he had a position. He had a chance to win to ice the game after the defense got a turnover, interception, and then he turned around and intercept and got the ball and threw an interception. You know what I'm saying? With seconds left, which gave Chargers. But there was some games that ended up being a blowout too, like Denver and Carolina. It started off good, but I think that was a blowout. I can't remember the score. I think it was a blowout. I think that yeah. As a matter of fact, Drew Locks threw for like 4 touchdowns or something like that. And, they put. I mean, it was a competitive game up until like the third quarter. Have the bottom half of the third, something like that. I don't know, but I thought Carolina was definitely going to win that game. Apparently not. Um, and then so there were some teams that was expected to win. That was, I mean, who thought the Washington Redskins were going to put up? Of course, you had Seattle versus the Jets. I think because these are some other. I'm really pointing that one out because I'm going to talk about the Jets too. Um, Chicago. Wow. The offense finally came on. Finally turned it on after all those woes. You know? I thought Minnesota would put up more of a fight against Tampa Bay. Another close game that Detroit and Green Bay, but Green Bay pulled it out again, and they're taking first place in the NFC due to the loss of the Saints. You know, and they still would have took first place because of the tie or something like that. So, uh, but yeah, let's just so just take this win for what it was. Um, there's still a statistical chance or mathematical chance that we can still win. Talking about the Dallas Cowboys, that we can still win the division. That's what you need to get up for. That's what you should have been playing for. Instead of a win at Cincinnati, a team that you should have beat anyway. So we'll see if y'all going to carry that over to the San Francisco game and following games, or the next 3 games that we have left. And I know sometimes I'm very critical of my team, man, because I know that you guys can play a lot better than what they have displayed. Okay, and, and particularly with the buzz that's going on right now, is getting rid of the defensive coordinator Mike Nolan, and I'm going against the grain. Just a little. I'm pushing back on that just a little bit. I mean, because I talked about this earlier part of the season, and we know that in recent years, when Mike Nolan, well, before coming back this year, that his last stop was like Atlanta. Well, he was actually the linebacker coach for the Saints. As defensive coordinator, he was in Atlanta, went to Miami. I mean, he went to San Francisco, and he was at San Francisco. He was at Baltimore, which was probably his best year or year two, whatever, however long he was there with the Ravens. You know what I'm saying? Um, with Mike Nolan's defense, and I heard this with one of the Ravens, somebody that knew about whatever. I don't know if they was with the played with the Ravens. I think they did. And matter of fact, I think it was Shannon Sharp, to be honest with you, at Shay's Club or something like that. Shay Club, whatever. And he was like, the only way that that defense worked was because they needed stout. They needed some dominant defensive linemen that's able to free up the linebacker. Okay, so we already know we have that issue in the middle of our defensive line. We need some studs out there. We need some dogs. Okay, but Tyler Mike Nolan, excuse me, I don't do this every time. Follow firing Mike Nolan. Is it really going to help? Is it really going to do better? Because we really have to be very diligent if that's the case at the end at in, going into the off season that Mike Nolan is of his duties. Um, who would replace him, and what scheme would they run? I mean, because you can put them back into a four down lineman scheme, uh, defense, but it could be a totally different scheme. You know, it could be more. It could be the more aggressive speed type scheme, which they was in with Marinelli and Richard. Richard just provided a couple of base defense. You know what I'm saying? And or it could be something totally different. And we know that things didn't go according to what they said it would be. That it would remain like defense, and they tried something. We know the whole spew of everything. It's complicated, so he dumbed it down, and it still seemed to be complicating because guys was missing their assignments. You know, stuff like that. They was blowing their assignments on the field or just not communicating at all. And I believe right there is the problem because that's what I wanted to point out. That's what I pointed out last time or earlier this season that we got to start looking at these players, man. Uh, because, and I'm going to use this as an example when we go back to the Ravens game and that Van Der Esch play where Lamar Jackson ran it in for the touchdown. How can you sit here and say that it's? I mean, you can't give all the blame. You cannot give all the blame to the defensive coordinator because in that particular, just that using that one example, he had them in the right defensive play. Van Der Esch just didn't execute because Van Der Esch got fooled. He said he second guessed himself. Why did you second guess yourself when your play was designed? It was designed to put you in position to make the play. And when something like that is said, that tells me that there is a lack of communication on the field. That's why there's a lack of execution when the play is called because these guys are second guessing themselves. Now, what can Mike Nolan do? Maybe I don't know because he's not on the field. He's not on the field. Only thing he could do is call up the play for them to run defensively, and they have to know the play that they had to know what they're in and what their assignments are. Okay. So that's something that I that's what I'm saying. Like, yo, it's just we got to start looking at these players. Now, Ray Lewis breaking down Cowboys. This is a month ago. Our Ravens got the win, Brenda. Push. Back to the movie. My Ravens got the win. What got me fired up? There are too many points being scored to me. I mean, and I'm just saying, I don't even know if you can hear this. You should. Let's go to the board. Yeah, you know what, bump that. I'm just gonna get straight to the point because Ray Lewis is breaking down this defense. These guys are in the right place. Mike Nolan has them in the right defensive set, and they just didn't execute it. And what Ray Lewis broke down, because Ray Lewis played in this defense now, is that the players on the field are not communicating. I'm not gonna go. This is not my. He's an expert. He knows the defense he knows what defense they're in because he played in that defense, and he's breaking it down on this show. Matter of fact, it's about a month ago. And if you want to check it out, it is why defenses are historically bad, and that's us. Okay. So, with that being said, now we got to look at some of these players because we was good last year, 2019. It was the offense that was the issue because the offense started off slow. The team gave up. The defense couldn't hold up, but the defense was ranked 11. You know what I'm saying? Overall, and third down percentage was up. You know what I'm saying? Was in the top half, within the top 10. You know what I'm saying? I think there was 6 in third down stops. Even in the red zone, I think they was in the middle of the pack with that. You know, but when you do, but as I went back for the last 4 years, because we knew in 2015 it was bad. That's how we ended up with Zeke back. Okay. But after 2019 season, when it came to third down percentages, third down stops, we was at the bottom. We was either near the bottom or right there at the bottom end of the middle of the pack. I'm talking about like ranked 24th, 25th. That was 2018, 2017, and I think 2016. I think it was 2016. Yeah. Yeah. What has always been, and because we had up and down seasons where we had double digit wins, then we had 8-8. We had double digit wins, we had 9-7. We had double digit wins, and it was just we just had a lot of volatility, no stability at all, no continuity, no consistency. Have a good defense, have a bad defense, but if the offense was bad, the defense looked, and we can have a good defense, but it just made the defense look bad because you can't have a defense on the field like that, right? Because we went from a predominantly running team, then we tried to make that go. You know what I'm saying? Become a passer. I could say it was needed. Okay, at the same time. And then we were spoiled with the dominant run line, but now we don't have a dominant run line. I mean, offensive line. That's not so dominant. So now we're seeing Zeke being exposed a little. You know what I'm saying? In a sense. But this defense has always been in question over the last few years. It has been the defense. That's the reason why we have not went anywhere when we got to the playoffs. Because defense wins championships. This defense, yeah, the defense might have been in top rank, whatnot, you know what I'm saying, as far as yardage goes. But when it came to getting teams off the field and in the red zone, you know what I'm saying, you want to get or giving up big plays, or giving up or how about giving up big plays in the run game? Always had run game issues, stopping the run issues over the last few years. Always had. So it's not just Mike Nolan. These players are in question, especially those that had came from the last regime. You know what I'm saying? Now, I'm not giving Mike Nolan a pass at all. If he get fired, he just get fired. You know what I'm saying? Simple as that. I mean, it doesn't matter to me. I just want somebody to come here and put this defense in place because um, I think from the last regime, it was a little too laid back, a little too fun. You know what I'm saying? It was just a little too fun, and to me, as I've been saying all this season, to me, these guys do not take their work home and study. You know what I'm saying? At all. That's just my opinion. I could be dead wrong with that, but the way that I'm seeing the lack of detail, a lack of attention to detail, part of that is on the coach because he's the one that got to communicate it over. But then part of it's on the players to work on their craft and their positions because and their assignments because that's what it's going to take if you're second guessing yourself in your defensive sets and what your assignments are and what everybody else's assignment's supposed to be and what they're supposed to be doing. You know? That's what that tells me. And then this game that we just recently played against the Cincinnati Bengals, where I can this is where I fault Mike Nolan. Yeah, we should be playing more man coverage. Very basic. Very, very basic. And I think that's where it's at for him. He needs to adjust too, because I don't think these guys are as loose as and as they're not as energetic as Rashard or Marinelli was. You know what I'm saying? To get these guys hyped up, whatever. I think Mike Nolan is probably more clinical and very specific in what he demands from the players. And it's probably not fun at all. It's probably more militant. I mean, in a sense. And these guys are coming from a regime where it was more lackadaisical. You know. So you can go back. I was gonna pull up the stats, and stuff like that. I don't need to. I mean, you can look it up yourself. At the same time, you've been watching the team long enough. Been watching the team every year. and it has always been the defense. We even when we had our best offensive uh, play on the field that kept us winning. The defense have lacked turnovers. Most importantly, and actually, I think we have more turnovers this year than we had in recent years. To be honest with you, as far as maybe they're not high in numbers in interceptions, but we had interceptions and we had fumbles. You know, combined. I'm just saying. But we always been talking about how this defense does not turn the ball over, and due to the fact that they don't gamble like that, they don't create pressure or whatnot to turn the ball over. I'm talking about across the board, not just from D-Law. Uh, it's a direct result on why the defense does not get off the field and why their third down stop percentage is at the bottom half of the league over the last 4 years, besides last year. And yeah, maybe last year in 2018. You can look it up. Something like that. But anyway, but for the last 4 years since um, Dak and Zeke been there, I'm going to say at least two, besides this year, besides this year, yeah, maybe 3 of the seasons, 2 to 3 seasons, man. As far as stopping, as far as getting the other team off the field on third down, we're not hitting, bro. Yeah, matter of fact, it's the third downs, getting teams off the field on third down. The last 3 seasons, from 2018, 2017, um, this year, and 2016. Okay, uh, in red zone, it's 2019, 2018. We was at the tops. 2017, 2016. He's right there in the middle to bottom half, whatever. Okay, so so I'm questioning the players, but then I'm questioning Mike Nolan and not knowing how to adjust. And maybe the formula for today, the win against Cincinnati, running man, um, he has seen the lights. This is what these guys need to be doing because that is as simple as it can get. You know what I'm saying? That is very rudimental. All you gotta do is just stick your man, know your assignments. You know what I'm saying, on the defensive line, whatnot, and get your guys in place. I don't know. Something has to. We just know that something has to be done. Whether if it's firing Mike Nolan, busting up the whole defense. Some of these guys are in their last contract, not resigning them. Get some players that fit. But I'm not in favor of firing Mike Nolan. That's just me, in my honest opinion. Um, but if he goes, I understand too. I understand that as well. I just say for him and Mike McCarthy, like, okay, if this is a mulligan season, then we'll next year, if because that's still pending, if there's a normal schedule in the off season where there's OTAs, training camp, preseason, all that stuff, they get that and be able to implement and be hands on with the guys and communicating on what they want, and we still have a bogus season. Now, we're firing Browns for sure because there's no excuse. Can't blame it on the fact that we didn't have all season. Nobody had. Can't say it was because of COVID, because everybody, you know what I'm saying. So yeah. So now it's just down to what is the problem defensively? Is it the players? Are they not competent enough? are they taking it as are they taking this as serious and being detail oriented, or is the coaches not being detail oriented and communicating that with the players? Because for all I know, when it's between the lines, play is called, they have to execute it, they have to communicate. And to me, it's just too many times that these guys have been in the perfect or the right, uh, where the coach has called the right defensive play, and they was out of pocket, particularly the linebackers. We need to get better linebacker as well, to be honest with you. So we need to show improve. So I enjoy the win, guys. Cowboys, clap, clap. Let's see what you're gonna do this next the Sunday coming. Let's build upon this, and let's see where we're gonna go. How we're gonna end this going into the off season. Are we gonna win the division? Who knows? It's not. It's not even about that. To be honest with you, it's something to play for. It's something to play for. Give you purpose, give you reason to play harder, to play at your max level, max effort. You know what I'm saying? So use that as fuel. And if we can win it, then we just win it. But you know that your play got you there. You know that your effort is what took you there, that got you to that point to win the division. It ain't just because you're talented or more talented. It's not because you have one of the top wide receiving cores. It's not because you have one of the top running backs in the league. You know what I'm saying? It's because y'all played as a unit, complemented one another, and the defense came through. They closed out the game. Simple as that. Simple as that. But I just wanted to put that out there to share my thoughts. So y'all tell me what y'all think. Like the content, subscribe, hit the notification bell. This is your boy, Anthony Fallon. It's on Set Sports Channel. Peace.